We are in deep discussion about the Chini Bagh consulate closure in Kashgar. Kashgar was an independent country since 1912 time frame when Qing dynasty was over and another kind of Republic of China was formed by armed forces in China. It was a big, weak government, and in that sense, Kasi Kasgar region, that is also called Xinjiang, or I don't know whatever it is. It is used to call East Turkestan or Uyghur, which captured the main town of this is Urumqi. Urumqi is in Jammu Kashmir. When we see of India, north of the Jammu Kashmir, passing the Karakoram range, okay, Karakoram pass, then there is a Taklamakan desert. And in the Taklamakan desert, along the along the Himalaya is in three parts. And Himalaya, all three parts they meet at a point. That range of the Himalaya is called Karakoram range. Karakoram range of the Himalaya, which joins the three side of Himalaya, that is in Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, that range that connects one is called Greater Himalaya that goes eastward, and it ends more or less in the Kanchenjunga mountain, Kanchenjunga peak in the Greater Himalaya in the Sikkim, but it spans still the lower. It spans, then it becomes lower and passes through Arunachal Pradesh, and then it goes till Vietnam. Okay, north part from the Karakoram range, that range is called Tian Shan, and it goes till the kind of border of Mongolia and Kazakhstan. From there, it goes in another, it becomes lower, and it called, I believe, Altai Mountains. Altai Mountains of Himalaya is a very lower Himalaya that spans in Mongolia and that divides the Sibir or Siberia and Mongolia. Otherwise, full Tian Shan divides the Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Kazakhstan with the Kasi Kashgar region. And west side from the Karakoram range, that is called more or less Caucasian range. Caucasian range, more or less, it goes, K2 mountain comes in the Caucasian range. So K2, that is the second highest. So Caucasus, and here I forgot the name of the peak that is in Tian Shan range. In the north side, there is a peak there also. In this side, the biggest peak, the topmost peak is K2, and eastern side, the topmost peak is Sagarmatha, that is Mount Everest. So K2, from K2, it will go till the Hindu Kush, till there, Nanga Parvat, Hindu Kush, till there it is high. From Hindu Kush, it will become low, and that is extended now. It goes till Turkey, and it divides the Indian subcontinent with the European side. That is the Himalaya. So Himalaya, the northern side, Tian Shan mountain, the eastern part of Tian Shan mountain is alluvial soil. That is Sita river or Yarkand river flow along the Tian Shan, and there are towns there, and their good agriculture is there. And then eastward it goes for the Taklamakan desert, and in there is a Hotan city is there, that is on the confluence of Yarankus and Yarankus and Karankus river that originates from the Haji Langar area or Aksai Chin right now. From there it goes to Hotan, and finally it meets in the Yarkand river, and it forms a new river called, I believe, I forgot the name. The Sita river is over. This Yarkand river is over, where this Hotan, this Yarankus and Karakus river, from the Aksai chain, it goes till Hotan town, and it becomes a single river called Hotan river. And there it meets the Sita river, and it becomes Tarim river. Tarim river, and it goes till the Lopnur lake, whatever it is. That is, this is theory. River dried out in between one. Now the idea concept is that in this is called Indian subcontinent. People living out there, they are from Indian origin. They also called Uyghur people. Their look is different. Means they look like Aryan. Means it is not pure Chinese look. They have shaded color also. Means in black color also. Means because Taklamakan heats up in the summer, so they need that race also. So that is Indian people. So in 1912, more or less, this region became independent region. And then there was a heavy kind of anyway trade between the Indian Jammu and Kashmir, especially from the Kargil town and Leh town to the Kashi Kashgar, trade was there. Trade was there till Urumqi also. Heavy trade from the Delhi region to Urumqi, that is the capital of Xinjiang. Heavy trade used to happen till up to 1947. Trade between Kargil, Leh, and Kashi Kasgar remained. I believe it is around 300 kilometers. The trade between Kashi Kasgar in the Xinjiang province and here on Jammu Kashmir, Leh and Kargil, trade was heavy. But all of a sudden in November 1949, there was a consulate in Kashi Kasgar, Indian consulate, government consulate, that was facilitating the trade between the Kashi Kasgar and Jammu and Kashmir, Leh and Kargil. Lot of traders from Punjab region and Jammu and Kashmir also. They were trading with the Kashi Kashgar. The trader from Hotan region, they were trading with the silk. Means there was a the deep silk industry in that region. So silk were coming to the India from that trade route, and Indian merchandise they were going to that side, especially the food grain what India can export, especially the food grains that were going there. Anyway, now in 1949, out of sudden, in November 1949, the Indian government is asking to close the consulate that was available in Kasi Kasgar. Hundreds and hundreds of Indian merchants they were living in Kasi Kasgar at that time benefited from the trade. Means that region was completely live. After 1947, the consulate in the Kasi Kasgar, the name was changed into India-Pakistan Consulate. Means from the Pakistan Punjab province, people were going there to doing the trade. Anyway, November 1949, Indian government asked to close the consulate. And in December 1949, People's Liberation Army of China, communist government, it is attacking on the Xinjiang province to the Urumqi and Kashi Kashgar. This is mentioned by the CIA, American Investigation Agency, Intelligence Agency in the document that India asked to close the consulate in 1949 November time frame, whereas the Chinese army entered there in December 1949. This gives a hint that India was facilitating Chinese to occupy the Xinjiang province, closing down in trade. Idea was to close down the trade from the India to Kashi Kashgar, not required. Do the trade with the European Union, do the trade with America, do the trade with South Africa, do the trade with Australia and New Zealand. Only white people. Don't do trade with the Kasi Kasgar. That is not required. India was in a phase to close down all its relationship with Lhasa, with Kasi Kasgar, to Pakistan, to Afghanistan, to Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, Burma, Sri Lanka, Maldives. All trade it closed down. From the 1947, it started closing down all the trade. So the trade with Europe and America should boost up with India. That was the idea. The end result of this is today population is five times to the 1947 and one thing. And second thing is that people are starving now. Because when trade is not there, then what is the need that that farmer would cultivate their crop? Need should be there to do the work. When trade is not there, who will go to Germany and France to sell their his rice? But Punjabi people, they were going to sell their, especially maize and millet, to the Kasi Kashgar. And the people in the Kasi Kashgar, they were selling silk in the Indian Jammu Kashmir. Trade was there. Similarly, the with the Lhasa trade was there, with the Rangoon trade was there. Indian government closed down everything. Now Chinese forces they entered the Kasi Kasgar looking it as an empty region where no one has any interest. No one would oppose them, and they entered in December 1948 and December 1949 and January 1950, and they captured the Kasi Kashgar. In 1952 time frame, the Indian government, India had embassy in Beijing, China, and India had embassy in Lhasa also. In 1952 time frame, India downgraded the embassy of the Lhasa to consulate, working under that embassy of the Beijing. This gave a hint. This, this is a phase of India closing down its trade with all around. India did not want any trade with all around. This was a phase of step by step closing down its relationship with the foreign country, neighboring country. So that boost will be with the European country. That there the people's focus will be. Now, in that sense, they downgraded the consulate of the last embassy of the Lhasa in 1952 to consulate. This gave a big hint to Chinese that Tibet is also unclaimed by India. November 1948, India closed the consulate, means it gave a hint to the consulate general that it has to be closed down, and Chinese entered there. In 1952, it downgraded the embassy of the Lhasa to consulate working under Beijing. This gave a big hint to the Chinese to enter Tibet, and they entered Tibet. Fight was severe, fierce. By 1959, China controlled the Tibet. This is called closure of all the trade around. This is what we are discussing. Anyway, I have some kind of statements and whatever has had happened. Okay. Okay. The CIA document, the intelligence agency of America, CIA was interested there because when China is coming to the Kasi Kasgar, it is as if communist government is spreading. In that sense, America was anxious about it. So CIA was working there. Not only that, Kasi Kashgar, it had consulate from Britain also. It had consulate from the America also. When Chinese forces they entered the Kasi Kasgar in December 1949 and January 1950, then by end of 1950, that was the winter of 1950, October, November, December time frame, the consulate of the Kasi Kasgar Ram Sathe, he was Indian Foreign Administration, I Indian Foreign Service (IFS). He was Indian Foreign Service employee, or he has completed Indian Foreign Service, and he was employed there. He ran away from there from the November December 1950 time frame, and through the Karakoram passes, that is through Himalaya, very treacherous passes. Through that, he came to Leh. From Leh, he was airlifted to the Delhi. This was the scenario. If these people were doing like this, then by 1950 time frame, by end of the 1950 time frame, when Ram Sathe left the Kasi Kasgar consulate, along the Ram Sathe with his wife and his family, the American consulate and with his wife and family and Britishers consulate all left with the Ram Sathe only. So along with the Ram Sathe, they came to the Karakoram Pass, and through Karakoram Pass they came to the Leh. All three, Britain, America, and India. Only Russian were there. So Russian consulate was there, or Russian embassy was there, and Russian was there. Till 1949 time frame, it was an independent country. And when Chinese came there, they started closing down all the private businesses out there, converting it to, and they nationalized it. This is the communist fundamental. All the business will be captured by the communist government. So all become a government provision store, whatever the shops were there. And government was giving salary to the shop owner, and they confiscated agricultural land from the Uiguri people. Uiguri people are the indigenous to the Uyghur region or the Kasi Kaskar region. And they distributed this land to Han tribe of the China. Han tribe of the China, they migrated from China to the Kasi Kaskar region, and they acquired the agricultural land given by the Chinese government, and they were doing the agriculture. So Han people, now the condition of Uyghur, that so many Han people from China, they came to Uyghur. Now Uyghur and Han population are 50-50% more or less. That is the present scenario right now. Anyway, now by 1952, when the Tibet embassy was downgraded to the consulate 1952 September time frame, I believe. Okay, so 1952 October. Okay, 19 by 1952, 52, 52. There was no one in the consulate. 1950 only, all hundreds and hundreds of traders in Kashi Kashgar, they ran away from there. When consulate general ran away, traders also ran away. It was more or less, trade was more or less over only. So November 1949, Indian government gave a direction to close down the consulate, but till 1950 end, the trade was going on. After that, when consul general from India, Ram Sathe left there, then everyone left there. Till 1952 end, there was no trade going on. 1953 October, okay, there is a short note came from the Indian embassy in Beijing, and it mentioned that Indian consulate general and Kashgar was closed by us during the month means in October 1953, and Indian members of our staff started on their return journey home by the overland route. I mean, they returned in the 1950 itself. 1953, embassy from the China, they have given an official note that there is nothing out there. And December 1953, Jawaharlal Nehru is saying that some major changes have taken place there. But when these changes, revolution, but when these changes, revolutionary changes took place, there we had to close our consulate. They had closed the consulate in the November 1949 itself. December 1953, officially it was declared by Nehru that there is a revolutionary change. Revolutionary change means communist government has taken over the Kasi Kasgar region. Communist government took over Kasi Kasgar region because you closed down all the trade with your neighbor. That's why everyone they dominated over that region. That is the actual truth. But anyway, this is how it had happened. P. and Call. P. and Call was he was consul in Lhasa in 1959. In Lhasa consulate, P. and Call was appointed there. He wrote that in this in no- in winter of 1950, means October November 1950, Mr. Ram Sathe and along with American and Britishers, they arrived in very bad situation to the Leh, and from there they were airlifted to Delhi. This is what he had also written. Anyway, these are the scenario. What is current scenario out there? In 2017, Chinese government is in plan to make a road from Beijing that will go through Urumqi and then Kashi Kasgar and through the Central Asia, Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, uh, I'm sorry, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, and Iran, and it will go to the Red Sea and Mediterranean Sea. They are calling it as the Silk Route Economic Belt. One road, one belt, one road. This is called Silk Belt. Means China's silk that was getting sold in the Africa and Europe through this belt. Now China is talking about this Silk Belt, making the road again. In that sense, it has invited India to open the consulate in Kashgar again. So China is not against the consulate in the Kashgar. India should keep the consulate in the Kashgar when China is looking for the opening the Silk Route again. This is the proceeding. The development happens through China, but India in resistance to open consulate in Kashgar. The reason everyone understands. Today, no Afghanistan president or prime minister comes to India. No Pakistan president prime minister comes to India. No Tajikistan prime minister president comes to India. No, none from the Kasi Kasgar comes to India. None from the Tibet comes to India. None from the Bhutan or Nepal. Very seldom comes to India. None from the Burma comes to India. None from the Bangladesh. Means I believe Muhammad Yunus, he has never come to India. None from the Sri Lanka comes to India. None from the Maldives comes to India. Seldom it comes to India. This is the present day India relationship with its neighborhood. When trade is zero, what will be the employment people would get? India has tons of population around its boundary, tons of population, and all are living in the boundary, forced to go to Bombay, Delhi, Calcutta, and these towns to earn their livelihood, where their actual livelihood was the very strong trade with the other part of the Indian subcontinent that was deliberately closed by Indian National Congress post 1947. Okay, this is the scenario. What we can do? We just pray. We can just pray that Indian government should open its eye when it is in slumber. This is what we can say. When it is in slumber, it should open its eyes and see that, and open its eye and come to a determination that Indian people should not starve.